Legium Harsinta.
万兵の数が多いな。
足がここに残ります。何かあれば合図を出します。鳥か、そうだ、猿の真似。
Legium Harsinta. Penguin. Dosso!
What up, Barkley? Going on, buddy? Cool. We got Border Scarlet and Violet. I got my new stance today. Moon stance. Look. I like how he holds the sword up. See, look at this, Barkley. We have... This is stone, water, moon, and wind. Stone, water, moon, wind. It's like learning martial arts, this game. It's fun. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm looking for something. I'm poisoned, my guy, though. I got like an hallucinogenic in me. And every once in a while, this witch lady on this island is fucking with me. I just had a cup of coffee, so I should be okay for a little bit, too. I didn't think I was going to stay up. I was doing Kenshi with a computer there. I wasn't streaming. I was just grinding a little bit on it. Now I'm just listening to podcasts, political podcasts, and
読者の改造を見つけた。これでよし。
I keep up on politics, Barkley. I know a lot of you young boys don't do that, but I do. You should too, being that you could vote now. A lot of you young boys should do that. Well, you know, you take your breaks from it. Sometimes I take a break. To me, like a 2-3 year gap is just a break. It's not even like a fall off anymore because I'm so old. It's like, oh, I was into UFOs when I was 36, but now I'm 38 and I like politics better. But now I like UFOs. Like, to me, it's like it doesn't even matter. It's like I just take a break. That's all. I call it breaks now. せいぜいあと一人分ってとこだな。ケンジ、備えよ。もう立ちます？時期だ。あとはお前だけ。仕事ができて楽しかったぜ。あんたとな。俺もだ。本当に乗らない？酒樽に隠れちゃえばいいんですよ。酒井様はおしりが Well, what political party do you feel will involve the fall of your government? If you had to say between the between the red pill and the blue pill, right? The high milligram of red pill or a high milligram of blue pill. What pill you think could create the fall of your government?
でもケンジ様早く行け代わりに足が乗るぞ
よく心を決めたな
足は何とでもなりますからでもフグはそうじゃないこれでいいんですもしや足とお別れできると思っちまいました
逃げられなかったな
一杯飲みますか
息のクロードに
その名は忘れちゃいましょう
Kenji's a good guy at heart here. He's just a coward, a bit of a coward, but he's actually has a good heart. He always does the right thing when push comes to shove. Well, I would a little bit disagree with your take on saying that the red pill is more military focused. I don't think that's 100% true. Yes, they like a higher budget towards the military, and they tend to cater towards the vets, or like they at least they talk like they do. I don't really think they do cater towards the vets. I don't think any side does. But I will say this: the Democrats get involved. The blue pill gets involved with foreign policies and foreign things. Like all this money that we're giving to Ukraine right now, all the fucking, giving Ukraine, all the money and weapons and things that we're giving, cluster bombs to Ukraine now, all of that stuff, one could argue is military. The Democrat who's leading the charge, and America always tends to lead the charge with NATO, always under a Democratic president, all the time. Sorry, I'm just saying. So I would say at the end of the day, well, I don't know. I'm just saying at the end of the day, Barkley, I would just say at the end of the day, Barkley, yes, maybe the red pill does focus more on the military, but the blue pill just tends to focus on wars outside of our country all the time. That's what happens. So I would do the military argument. I think they're both pretty invested in the military in some ways. I think, again, what is this here? Bloodstained Tundra. The first green of spring, sinking into black, decaying, plagued by blood and beast hunter, rejected to love. Okay. This is strange. You got dead bodies strung up here. You have... That's kind of strange, Barkley. Did they want me to duel somebody over here? What is this about here? The first green of spring sickens to black, decaying, plagued by blood and beast, hunter rejected the fish. Was it like a puzzle, this shrine? How do you solve puzzles in this game? Oh, never mind. There's something up here, I think. Maybe? No, that just indicated the shrine. That's what I say, Barkley, is I say you're going to have to vote next year. Are you going to vote? You're not a baby like Omar. Omar still has a few years, and so does Jay. They're babies. They're in their little teenage years. They can't vote. Therefore, they don't know. But you, Barkley, have to vote. And if you don't vote, it's not a good look. You should vote. The question is, are you going to pick the lesser of the two evils? Because let's be honest, both sides are evil. Or are you going to be an independent chap? Or are you going to be, who do you think you, well, I'm not going to, well, if nobody votes, then the people who get elected are the ones that enforce policies that may not, or probably may not, work with what you believe in. So if you believe in certain policies and rights towards yourself and your family, then the person who may hurt your family or do bad by you and your family may become in office for the next who knows how many years. And especially when you're looking at the House and the Senate, That's not 4 years like the presidency, or 8 years, whatever, with 2 terms. The House and the Senate, people could be on that shit till they're like 100, man. They don't retire till they're in their 80s sometimes. They could be 35 years sitting in that Senate, man. So, with that being said, you may say, Barkley, that maybe your vote doesn't count because you're only one person, but then your parents' votes add into that. That could be 3 people right there. And if you have any, you said you're only child, but if you have any cousins, so the long story short is that your vote in your family bloodline will be of at least 3 people, 3 votes, or even more, depending on cousins, whatever. So it's more important than you think, right, Omar? I was just telling Barkley how you're a little baby and you can't vote yet until perhaps 2 years from now. Barkley should vote, I said. Yeah, but you're a little baby, Omar, so they don't want your vote right now. Your brain isn't fully developed for voting. Omar, your frontal cortex is not fully developed yet for voting. But you should vote maybe in 2 years. I mean, like, definitely. Actually, you can't even vote for the presidency in 2 years. Imagine that. You could just vote for, like, some dumb Wisconsin mayor or some shit. Omar's a little baby. But he's like a big baby. He's tall. He's like, you ever see like one of those tall babies that wear like a diaper and they're like 6'5"? I don't know if you know those babies, but they're out there. Right, Omar? Oh, that's a fair argument. But realistically, Barkley, I mean, you theoretically can't really work until you're 18 unless you get permission, like working papers, either from a school or something. So, like, it is kind of like that. But you can work off the books, which a lot of people do when they're underage. But you don't have to worry about that, Barkley, since you're a Chipotle man. As for Omar, he needs his working papers. You need working papers, Barkley. You can't. It's actually illegal to hire somebody without working papers at that age, believe it or not. Like, I had my working papers at, like, what was it, 15, 16 I had them? Yeah, you have to get working papers, and that's like a whole process through a school or whatever. Like, you can't just get that unless you know. Well, I mean, but what would that do, Barkley? Just give you 2 years of not paying tax? I mean, I won't argue it. I mean, shit, how much tax are you paying when you're like fucking 15 anyway? Well, what type of job are you gonna have? You're not making millions. You'd be lucky you make an entry level. So if they let the kids save a couple extra bucks, why not? I'm down with it. But at that point, I would just say let the kid work without working papers and just give him like $500 a week. They'd probably make more than the goddamn fucking working papers. Well, 18 you could vote, so that's not, we're not talking about a long time. 3 years? It's not that long. And chances are, like, no 17-year-old is going to be positioned to a managerial position, even in 3 years. Right. Well, Barkley, I do one video job, I make $700, $750, like that. And that's just one video job. I'm not trying to flex, but what I'm saying is that you'd be surprised that a kid in New York could make 500 a week, or 400 or 500, even at 15, because New York has a much higher minimum wage than probably where you are. New York's minimum wage is like $15, man. Like, it's not small. But but it's locational. You got to realize, like, you may not make that much, but at the same time, where you live, your cost of living isn't that much. Like, you got to look at it like that. Like, people, like, you can make minimum wage over here, and you're not even living, dude. The rents over here cost, like, the minimum wage is slightly more than where you are, right? Maybe like a bit more, but not like a lot more. But it's a significant amount, I guess, if you clock the hours in. But the rent could be like 5 times more, man. I mean, this city is horrendous. You gotta live with people here, man. But you make more money here, so it's a weird dynamic. Yeah, but, I mean, Barkley, people don't fucking, what you're going to learn is, what you kids are going to learn as you get older is that everybody is doing something illegal on a grand level. Okay, let me explain something. Okay, you want to talk about illegal? Let's talk about illegal. The subway that me and my friend David used to go to just a few years ago, a Subway, the chain Subway, like Chipotle is a chain, Subway is a chain, okay? Now, I'll just tell you what this guy was doing. His name was Jamal. He wasn't a black guy, he was an Arab guy, right? Just because sometimes people associate the name Jamal with black people, but he was an Arab guy. He was the owner of Subway, well, the franchise. He was collecting disability under his wife's name or whatever the fuck. I don't know. He had it under somebody's name. He had, supposedly 6 kids, but he was collecting welfare on all of them, okay? Now, he was also on a disability, so he was getting a lot of government pay right there, with government insurance, all sorts of things like that. Plus, he had his own business. Plus, he was on food. It was like, and how do I notice? Because the girls that worked there told me, right? Because he was kind of like a jerk. He would put the mop water out early, and I'd be like, what the fuck is up with this guy putting the mop water out at 3:30? And they're like, oh, don't get us started on Jamal. He's collecting 100 different things from the government. He's got everything in different names. He's got license plates from out of state, all sorts of shit. He drives like a Mercedes. He's this, that, right? The guy is fucking scamming the system, right? This one guy. And he owned a franchise. He kept the franchise going until he got evicted because he owed 3 years, 4 years of rent. Now, the lovely thing about New York is, yes, they charge a lot of rent, but if you can't pay your rent in New York, there is such a backlog, Barkley, of getting evicted that chances are by the time you get evicted, it's going to be several years from now. This is why people hate New York sometimes, because you can have we don't have enough workers in the judicial system or the police department or any of these things to enforce anything. So, for example, you'll have a guy walking on parole, right? And his parole, he's due to go to jail in 2026, and you're like, oh, what did he do? What did he do, crazy? What did he do? I mean, maybe he's a part of the system, man. The system wronged him. It's like, no, he fucking stabbed his grandmother to death when he was 15, and he was sent to juvie, and then he got out, and when he got out at, like, you know, and he was 18, and whatever the case is, he killed his sister, or whatever the fuck, stabbed her with a screwdriver, and then he's just walking around, and now he's an adult walking around, and, like, we're like, well, we're not gonna fucking give him, you know, a parole hearing until 2026, and you're like, wait a minute, this fucking guy, yes, we do need a Batman, 100%, we fucking do, but, like, this guy all of a sudden is walking around for 2026, and he's a fucking guy who murdered people. Like, this is welcome to New York. Like, we just have people who are literally, like, psychotic, mentally ill criminals walking around waiting to do their jail time because we just are so overfluxed with people. We just have so many people in this city that it's like everything's a wait. Everything is a wait. It's like going to the DMV. You want to go to DMV and you want to renew your license plates and stuff like that? That's an all-day process from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. And why is that an all-day process? Because, dude, it's like there's just so many fucking people. Like 8 million people live in this fucking city. 8 fucking million. And this city's not big land-wise. Like, we're quite a small little piece of land. It's not New York State. You know, everybody confuses New York City with New York State. The state of New York is pretty big. Yeah, that's upstate, where there's mountains and fucking grass and shit. Oh, dude, fucking, it is hell, dude. There's like 40, 50 fucking windows, right? Maybe not that many. Like, I'd say, yeah, maybe 35 windows, and they have numbers all on top. It's like a horse, I guess, based on whatever, you know. Most of it goes on the same line, you know, the same. Really fast, they may make it a little faster for you, but most likely not. Nah, dude. 6 windows, bro. I gotta take a picture and show you when I'm in my DMV on Rockaway. I don't know why. Am I cutting out, Omar? He says I'm cutting out 2 times. I don't feel like I am, but maybe I am. My internet's been shit today, man. Yeah, so there's like 30, 35 windows in the DMV, dude. It's like crazy. It's that much, man. Like I said, you know what? It could be 25 windows, okay? So, I don't know. My internet's not that good today, man. I knew it. My YouTube was fucking up before. Sorry, man. I can't really do nothing about it. Yeah, no, my internet's kind of weird today. It is weird, though. I'm taking responsibility for that. Usually I blame everybody else, but now my internet's been bad today. Maybe 25 windows at the least? At the least? It could be 25. I might be exaggerating it, but it's not 6, bro. I'll tell you that much. Not really. I'm not really scared of much when it comes to that, like heights or water or anything like that. I mean, like, if I look down, I'll probably get a little scared. I just won't look down. Also, I don't want to be clumsy, you know? Would you ever go on a boat, Barkley? Hey! Jesus, look at that, no arrows, of course. Did you see what happened to that, Did you guys see what happened to that college kid on that pirate yacht or whatever? He was like drunk, it was nighttime, and he jumped in. And he got fucking eaten by a shark. Did you see that? It was just recent. Omar probably heard about it. Omar, did you hear about that? It was like a week after the fucking people drowned on the submarine. Omar, I knew a guy who did that, actually. His name was, fucking Derek. But that's not easy. That's not an easy job to get. You gotta have a way in. It's like unionized and shit. One thing you'll find out about New York is everything's like unionized here. You have to know people. Everything's a local something, okay? That's what they call a union. So if like you're a concrete if you lay down like marble, like let's say you're a marble layer or you're in the concrete union or the carpenters union, you gotta pay what they call union dues. Okay? I don't know if you guys are familiar with unions. Barkley might be because he's older. But you gotta pay what they call union dues, and then they kind of look for jobs for you. It's like your way in. Yeah, this guy Derek. No, I really know a guy who used to go to the bar. He actually used to go to Starbucks all the time. His name was Derek. He literally cleaned skyscraper windows. That's what he did. Like even Empire State Building and stuff. He did that, and he made good money. Omar's right. They make fucking hell a lot of money. Those guys, like hella a lot. Those window washes. It's like ridiculous. They make like $50 an hour, 60 maybe. It's crazy. It's a union job and it's high pay, and they get benefits and everything. It's great, but there's not a lot of ins on those type of jobs, Omar. Like, you see, that's the thing. Everybody thinks, like, New York has... It's who you know. Remember I told you, Omar, like, one time I told you, like, getting a good job sometimes is, like, who you know. It's not always your education. This guy, Derek, is a fucking dropout. He has, like, a GED, if that. I don't even know if he has a GED, the guy. He, like, used to... I remember he used to deal drugs and shit on the side, like, in the bar. But I knew what he did. He's always nice to me, though. I liked him. But he always drove a nice car. He always drove, like, a Lexus and shit. The kid had money. And it's funny, because he was a small guy. He wasn't big. He's only, like, 5'8". He was, like, my height. Like, he wasn't that big. And he was on the skinny side a little bit. So he was probably, like, weighed a little less than me, I'd say. But, like, he was on the skinny side. But he was, like, cool, though, man. He used to, like, oh, man, he used to always get pretty girlfriends, this guy. He used to always fucking come in, like, with the sports jacket. He used to always have, like, some pretty Latina girl with him. I think he wound up marrying one of them. But no, he did good for himself, man. Like, he did fucking good for himself mainly because of that job. But he did other things on the side. He was a hustler, too. And he looked young. At 40 years old, the guy looked like he was fucking, like 26. He was like that young, like, baby face. Kind of looked like Derek Jeter a little bit, but like a younger, like, version. You know what's funny is, like, I don't have his number like that. I did have his number at one time, I think, when we were, like, drinking and hanging out, and I got his number. But I never kept it. I don't think I kept it. But I did have his number. I would never ask, man. You know, like, things like that, like, to try to... I don't know. Like, would I be afraid of heights like that? Like, Omar, we're not talking about, like, a little bit of height. Like, those buildings are, like, very, very big. Hundreds of feet. Easily hundreds of feet. Like, you're up there, man. But, like, would I be afraid of that? Like, if I'm harnessed pretty well, probably not. Maybe? I don't know. I'd have to see it. Maybe I would. Who the fuck knows, right? I mean... Yeah, but you make pretty good money if you have a city job. That's why city jobs are, you do pretty well, but they're hard to get into. There's a lot of shit that holds people back from getting into city jobs. One was affirmative action. They just got rid of that. Oh, and that caused a big outrage over here. A lot of people got mad. Why did they get rid of affirmative action? Well, because Donald Trump hired 3 Supreme Court judges that were voted in, Barkley. This is why votes count. And those 3 Supreme Court judges voted in a day to get rid of affirmative action. Now, some white people would agree with that, right? Like, because, like, hey, well, why should they get an unfair advantage? Now, here's the thing, and I agree with it to a degree. But when people get adjusted to a way of life for 45 years, let's just say, 50 years, and they're used to something, to just take it away in a day without, like, really talking about it is kind of a sneaky power move. Basically what it means, Omar, like, if somebody was to take a city job in New York, and when affirmative action was still into place, which it still might be technically, I don't know when exactly they're getting rid of it. I mean, I know it was voted out, but so basically, like, if you were to apply to be a police officer or a firefighter, let's say, and if you're African American or black, whatever is politically correct, and you scored a 72, they will consider you above the white guy who scored a 95. This is stuff they don't like to tell you in school because it sounds fucked up. But this is what they would do. This is why the school system teaches things like CRT, or systemic racism, or critical race theory, because they try to the liberal school system tries to enforce the fact that if you're white, you're guilty by association. This is what they call white guilt and white privilege. That all white people are privileged with the system around them. And all white people are in a state of privilege. Now, I don't agree with that because, again, I grew up with kids that didn't have anything. I grew up with a friend of mine that he's German and Irish and and a little bit Italian, and his mother and father were crackheads and heroin addicts, and they went to jail when he was like 12 years old. They had to climb on top of the roof of their building, and he lived above a pizzeria, and they arrested them. His name is Jimmy, he's my friend. He was actually a really close friend. He was over my house every day. And then his grandmother had to raise him. His grandmother was an alcoholic, and they were on all sorts of welfare and stuff, and the kid really came from a hard time. He was starving, this kid. Didn't eat, nothing. You know, he had no food in the house. The kid was not somebody who you would call a prime candidate for white privilege. He was a poor kid, stricken with poverty, and had drug addict parents. But now, things like critical race theory, CRT, and systemic racism that they try to put in the schools try to justify affirmative action and things like that, basically stating that, well, if you're white, you come from a privileged society, even if you're a homeless white person. That's where I kind of disagree with it. But at the same time, and I'm going to play the fence here, like I always do. I'm always playing the fence because I don't believe in any real political side, is that when a certain demographic of people get used to something for a very long time, to just take it away in a day is a bad thing. It's kind of like the abortion thing. Roe versus Wade. Now, you could be pro-life all you want, but to enforce Roe versus Wade in such a short amount of time for such a magnitude of a decision is a bad fucking thing. And this is what the Republicans do. They do power plays. Like, the Democrats are funny because the Democrats will bitch and moan about a policy for like years and never do shit about it. But activism. So basically the Democrats will be like protesting and whining and bitching and picket signs and armchair activist shit. You know, that's what the Democrats do. But the Republicans are sneaky. They, behind the scene, will enforce laws. And that's why you have to care who you vote for. Who's in the Senate or who's in the House. And who's the majority leaders in the House or the Senate. Because they're the ones who really control everything. So that's a little bit of knowledge for you all to know when you get older. And this is, again, why I play defense, because I don't think what both sides do is good. I think a lot of things that both sides do is really bad, in my opinion. They both do scumbag type shit, in my opinion. You'll get like hardcore Republicans that'll be like, oh, the Republicans, they do everything right. You know, what are you talking about? It's the damn liberals. But believe me, the Republicans don't do everything right. They fuck up a lot too. Lately, it seems like the liberals are doing probably worse. I hate to say it, but I don't know, man. I tell you, as much as whenever, this is what I'm learning from getting into politics the last 5 years, is that every time I champion one side, the other side does something really bad. So if I start listening to a lot of right-wing politicians and people like, or podcasts like Ben Shapiro's and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, you know, those conservatives make a lot of sense. They make a lot of sense. And then they do something fucked up the next day. You know, so that's, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can see why the liberals don't like it. And that's it. And then the liberals will do something fucked up in retaliation or something really fucked up. So, you know, and then it's a back and forth battle. Like, who can outfuck the other? Which political party can outfuck the other political party? It's like a rebellion thing, you know? And ever since Donald Trump became president, the Democrats went apeshit on the Republicans. And it caused a big divide, you know, between everybody. Now, do you blame Donald Trump? He did get elected. You can't, you know, the Democrats want to try to blame Russian collusion for the election, but I don't believe that. I don't believe the Russians mingled. And if they did, it was such a small percentage, I don't think it mattered. But then people could be like, well, you know, the Republicans tried to say that Biden, they were miscounting the ballots. And, you know, and that's their way of kind of like saying, you know, like the Democrats said the Russians manipulated the vote in 2016 or whatever. The Republicans say that in 2020 that the ballots were that the Democrats cheated. It was fraud. And that's why January 6th happened. Like, this is real shit, man. You guys should know. Because January 6th was like a monumental day. So it's just real shit, you know? And a lot of it's in controversy. There's a lot of controversy behind all of it. Defeat the Miles killing me while concealed by a smoke bomb. I don't know, maybe I don't know. This was like hardcore Pokemon mode. So I like to, look at this shit, come on, son. I like to get into politics a little bit. Here's the thing. I like to educate myself on politics. I never, like, Omar, do you ever really see me taking sides with politics too much? I don't really take sides with politics, but like you could say, Omar, am I not educated like your science teacher? Like, I try to educate myself as much as I can because I want to know what's going on in this country, you know? I don't just like living in a country and not knowing what's going on. Like, I feel like I'm taking shit for granted in a way, you know? Like, I do kind of want to know what's going on. I'm having a lot of fun with Iki Island right now. This island is really cool, Omar. Oh no. Alright. Downpour. Okay, moon. I might be Barkley. So it depends what mood I'm in. I would like to say I'm more moderate, but I might be. Let's get the fuck out of here real quick. Need some help back or something. No, looks like that's not a good thing. Jeez. Ah. Wait, what'd you say, Barkley? I think you're slightly more Democratic than Republican, but for the most part, you're centrist or whatever. Yeah, I would say, well, you know what's so funny about centrist is like its own political party, like with its own rules, believe it or not. It's kind of like a centrist is... It likes to advertise itself as being center, but they're kind of weird. Like, they have their own rules. Like, think of like a Jehovah's Witness or something. If you were like a Jehovah's Witness, or you were part of the Church of Mormonism or something. Like, it's kind of, or like Scientology, right? Scientology, people are like, oh, Scientologists, they believe in science. It's like, no, they have nothing to do with science. So the centrist party is a little bit of a tricky thing to go by, to actually identify as that, but I would say I'm a moderate. I'm a moderate. I guess you could say libertarian is maybe a possibility. Libertarian, maybe a libertarian with very moderate political views. Maybe at times right-leaning, but at times could be left-leaning. So you're kind of like on the fence a little bit. But that would be it. Centrists are kind of weird, man. Like I said, centrists has their own like rule system and shit. It's like Satanism or something. I can't explain it to you. Know, it's hard to explain. It's got like its own. It's like its own denomination of like, yeah. You would, yeah. Omar, but didn't you say most of your school is woke though? Well, that's what's so funny. Omar, you're right. The actual state of Wisconsin is like a gray state, right, or something. Like they really don't know what they are. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny. Well, yeah, New York knows they're blue, but I'll tell you, man. The governor election got pretty close over here. People are getting tired of shit over here, man. So I don't know, but we're gonna most likely be blue. The two people are trying to box for Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean, they will, Omar, believe it or not, they will, and the reason is because the political divide is so close, man. The political divide is so close that every little state matters, even that little shithole Wisconsin. That little shithole state you live in, Wisconsin, that makes cheese all day and shit, it matters, believe it or not. Because at this point, Rhode Island fucking matters, man. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, little states like that matter now. Every shithole state matters. Especially for the Republicans, because New York's got the big ones, man. I mean, I'm sorry, the Democrats got the big ones, like New York, California. I think the only big state the Republicans have is like Texas. They kind of have Florida now, but I say kind of because Florida is a little bit of a swing state. There are times Florida isn't always red. Ooh. That's the leader. I got my water stance up. Break right through that shield. And then it dance a rat. Oh, the electoral okay. The Electoral College is very tricky. You can Google image. All right, you can Google image an Electoral College map. Okay, and the electoral college vote goes by a lot of weird different things. It goes by sometimes land mass, it goes by population. There's a whole bunch of factors. So, like, for example, like Texas may not have the same population as New York, but they have a pretty high electoral college because of the land mass and things like that. A lot of stuff goes on in Texas. So, like these are the type of states, when it comes to the electoral college vote, there's a lot of criteria that would make a certain state a certain amount of points. So, like, New York might be, give or take, 28 points, I'm thinking. Maybe it could be higher, 35. I don't know. I know Texas is high. Like, those are high, depending on how the numbers. Yeah, Wisconsin is 10 because it's much lower. So, you know, things like that. Like, California's up there, right? California's a pretty high. Like, you could see it on a Google image map. Texas, California, New York. Yeah, 29. Okay, I was close. What did I say? 28? Yeah. Okay, so New York's 29. Texas, New York. I know Pennsylvania's like 14 or 15 possibly, I think. Maybe. Florida. What's Florida? Like 22 or something? 21? California is 55. That's huge, dude. And that's almost all the time all Democratic in I'm sorry, California. California is like always blue. So that's a big win for the liberals. So just keep that in mind. A lot of the city states are blue. I think Florida might be a little less than New York. I think it's like 22 or something, but you could check. I remember it being a little less than New York. It's up there though. It's up there. It's like 20 in the 20s. But yeah, Omar. Wisconsin is 10, Omar. That's like fucking nothing. It's like PA. Pennsylvania is like half a shithole and has more than you, I think. Yeah, no, you're pretty on the money for the most part, though. But that's the electoral college. Now, there's two voting systems, right? You got the electoral college, and then electoral college vote, and then you got the popular vote, which kind of counts too. Now, which one they choose over the other, I'm not really sure how that works. Like, if somebody blows you out with the electoral vote, I mean, I think at the end of the day, the electoral vote counts more. Because the liberals always seem to win the popular vote based on the cities that inhabit the states. Wow, Florida and New York is the same. That's pretty crazy. I never thought they were the same. Are you 100% the same? Florida isn't like a couple of points less. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a big state for the Republicans, Omar. Yeah, well, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, okay, so that's 20, because Chicago is there. So that's a big. Chicago tends to lean left, so Illinois is definitely going to be a big liberal state. So this is what you're looking at here. We could kind of predict. If you guys want to predict the election, like, we could predict it. Like, I'll watch this shit on stream, and like, I love watching the election with popcorn and shit. It's like a sport game. It's like it's like a fucking sport game to me, to see who's gonna win and shit. I would bet money on it. I don't know, man, but I'll be honest. Like, even with all these liberal states, they're getting tired of Biden, man. So I don't know. I mean, Trump has a huge base. He has a lot of people that hate him. Don't get me wrong, but he's got a fucking base and a half. He's got people that fucking love going to his rallies, man. So, yeah. Here's the thing with Biden. Biden, I don't think is universally hated as much as Trump, but he's kind of disliked more in a way. If that makes sense. Like, it's like more people just like, I don't hate Biden, but I don't want him in office, right? Even the Democrats say that. Like, how many Democrats do you find that really love Biden, right? Not many. And then you say, well, how many Democrats hate Biden? Like, they don't hate him, but they don't love him. Then the Republicans really don't like Biden. This is why Biden has bad approval ratings right now, because even the Democratic Party wants him out because they're saying he's too old. So the Democratic Party doesn't want him, or at least let's just say the Democratic Party has mixed opinions, right? Even if 70% are on board and 30% are not, that's a hit within its own party. Oh my, they don't do shit, these presidents. They don't do anything good. I mean, like, you could say, well, what has Trump done? He didn't do anything that good. I mean, he did lower prices of gas and stuff like that, but he did fuck up a lot, too. You know, he took us out of a lot of, like, climate accords and things like that. Now, some people say, well, that's good. Not really. Not when your only friend in the world is North Korea or, like, some fucked up country. Like, we were like 1 out of 3 countries that weren't a part of that. And that's like, I understand the Republican viewpoint that climate change it could be very dangerous in a sense if we start forcing people to buy electric cars, and it could be an economic downfall if we get rid of coal and all that stuff like that. But to actually pull us out of the fucking climate accord is a pretty bad move. Thanks, Trump is a moron for doing that. So like, then you have, well, what does Biden do? Well, Biden fucking, he gives all, like, he pulled out of Afghanistan, which was a terrible move, by the way. And then he's leading the NATO charge and helping Ukraine in a war that has no end and blah, blah, blah. Well, keep in mind, Russia did invade Ukraine. I do agree that it shouldn't be our fucking problem to the point where we're literally throwing $40 billion at them just like a month ago, or 2 months ago. Like, we shouldn't have to do that. 100% agree. Why is it that every fucking war on this face of this goddamn planet has to be led by an American fucking president? Like, why? Like, why do we get involved all the time? Why? Well, crazy if if America doesn't get involved. Well, America's the leader of the free world, and they're the head of NATO, and they have to get involved. It's like, no, motherfuckers. Why don't the other countries step up? Like, look what our people are suffering. We have more homeless people in this goddamn country than any country in the fucking world. Imagine that. How is that possible? How is cities like New York and LA have more listen to this. New York City and Los Angeles has more homeless people than anywhere else on the entire planet. We're not talking about country. We're talking about planet. There's fucking slums in India and places all over the goddamn planet that doesn't have the same homeless problem. Why are we leading the NATO charge? Please tell me why we're throwing billions at that. And these are things to fucking consider when you vote, man. I give you food for fucking thought, man. Man, and it's like that shouldn't be our fucking, like, we should take care of our own people first, man. I always say that. But whatever. I don't know anymore, man. This is why I shrug. I play video games. I live in Iki Island right now because when I see shit like this, I look to escape because I feel as a country, we're failing our fellow man. We really are. Like, we're trying to look at the bigger picture. Like, well, we don't want a nuclear war to break out, and I get that. And Russia invading the Ukraine is a cocksucking move. But again, it's a war that doesn't seem to have an end. And when you have a war that doesn't have an end in sight, and throwing billions and billions and billions at it, and cluster bombs and jets and military things and blah, 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 it's like, what the fuck? What about our people? We have the most homeless people in this goddamn fucking, country. Why don't we help the homeless people? Oh, well, we're going to give fucking money to fucking Ukraine. And it's like, yeah, I feel bad over there, but, they kind of have their own bureaucracies and fucking shit that they did. Like, that's between them, man. Russia thinks it's their land, it's not now anymore. Whatever the fuck is going on, that's between them. Now, granted, do I agree with invading a country? No, that's crimes of war, but at the same time, People laugh at Biden too, Omar, when he falls all over the fucking place. This guy falling every which way. He's a fall away from impeachment, and that's the fucking truth. He's cursing now all over the place, this guy. You hear he's like having these tantrums, they're saying. And I heard him, you hear him, when he talks to the reporters but the reporters are assholes, I'll be honest. But he'd be like, yeah, you stupid son of a bitch. The buck stops here. Ah, the buck stops here. God save the Queen. And he says shit like that. Come on, man. Come on, man. God save the Queen now. I want to say, I have upstairs full of chocolate chip ice cream. I ain't kidding, folks. That's probably related to his son. That's probably related to his son. I hate to say it, man. Fucking Hunter Biden, man. He just fucking makes his father look worse, dude. Let me tell you something. But everybody has to realize one thing. Okay, and I always tell people this. Hunter Biden is not the president, nor will he ever be. So whatever the fuck Hunter Biden does, Hunter Biden does. Like, people fucking trying to string him on a fucking noose like as if he's the president. He's not. He's just the son, and he's a dumb son with a lot of fucking problems. He has sexcapades and drug issues, and when you name it, I believe it, and that's it. But, like, you know, that the Republicans are so focused on finding flaws with Hunter Biden in the laptop that, and the reason they do this is because the Democrats are so focused on smearing Trump every which way. And he ain't doing no fucking coke. He's fucking 81 years old. There's no way he's doing coke. He'll have a heart attack, Omar. You know what that shit does to you? I've done it before. Believe me. He ain't doing it. He'd be having a heart attack. Oh, fuck. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you, if he did do a little bit, maybe he had a little more pep and wouldn't fall as much. I mean, geez, man, maybe a little bit of that fucking nose candy would keep him from fucking falling over sandbags and going up Air Force One, tripping and shit. Because I'll tell you, man, he needs something to pep him up, really. It's ridiculous how many times this guy falls in front of Putin fucking riding a grizzly bear with a fucking no shirt on, like a judo warrior. And this fucking guy, you know, like, look at Putin. He's literally riding a grizzly bear in photos. I don't think he's really doing that, but he's riding a grizzly bear with no shirt on. That's the meme, with, like, his fucking built body, and you have this fucking guy Biden falling 15 times. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Square, circle, square, circle, square, circle, X. That's pretty easy. Got it, first time. So at the same time, Omar, like, I know people don't like Biden, but it's like Trump really isn't that good either. And, like, people have to realize that. He does, like, kind of, he pulls fast ones. I mean, look, I get it. The gas prices were better. I mean, in some ways with Trump wants our country to be self-sufficient. Okay, Trump is a practical conservative in the sense where, and listen to me when I say this, he knows that under America, there is more oil under America than anywhere else right now. And he wants to frack it. Now, that's a big problem with environmentalists. Environmentalists don't even want to hear fracking of oil. They don't even want to fucking hear it. But here's the problem. Every other country is doing it, right? You think the fucking Arab countries, the Middle Eastern countries give two shits about fracking? They're doing it. So why, as America, are we putting ourselves in a disadvantaged state by not fracking? Because if you think about it, we're still using petroleum, But then it's like, well, we're all crazy, or all dripping. Where did they get the petroleum? It's like, well, we're buying petroleum from South America, and we're also buying it from Europe. And, we were buying some from Russia, not much. But at the same time, so do you see the hypocrisy here? Why is it okay for South America to frack themselves into oblivion and other countries to do, and we'll just buy it off them, when we sit on it in our country and we don't touch it? Why? Well, I don't understand that. And Trump has a point with that. But then the environmentalists are like, you don't want to fucking, enough with the fossil fuels. You don't want fossil fuels. You're going to keep doing that. You're going to kill the planet, blah, blah, blah. And we are causing a climate change to some degree. I'm starting to think that we are manipulating the climate to some degree. Do I think we're manipulating the climate to the level that the political parties spew the negative propaganda? No. I think that's an MSNBC talking point, and that's a Fox News talking point. And Fox News and people of the Republican Party will tell you that fossil fuels do nothing to the environment. And then you have the MSNBC and the Democratic Party that will say, and the MSNBC and the Democratic Party will be like, oh, fracking is going to melt the icebergs in by next year, and it's going to be doomsday. And I don't think either is true. I really do believe that, it's not up to, I think this is a narcissistic viewpoint. Caden's mom, she's like a big Republican, right? She was on Fox News. I do believe that this is the truth here. I really do, and my truest thoughts, like Tupac said, and listen to my truest thoughts, my truest feelings. All right, so I do believe that in this country we tend to be a little bit on a narcissistic level of thinking who the fuck we are. Okay, we really do. America thinks who the fuck they are. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Whatever. I don't think it's a great thing, because at times in America, we tend to think that, okay, we're not going to frack. We're not, we're going to, if you buy a straw from McDonald's, if you get a cup of soda and get a straw, it's going to be a cardboard straw. If we're going to get rid of plastics, we're not going to frack. We're going to lead by example. No other country does that. I believe India tried, and they almost, 1 million of their people almost starved to death by going green. So it doesn't work in all countries. So therefore the fracking and all the coal power plant building and all the fucking shit that these other countries do, they don't want to hear the go green argument. Like, that's really America and like England and Canada and shit. Right? It's not like maybe France and stuff and Germany to some degree, but then what really hit these people was the war between the Ukraine and Russia. And such hypocrite countries too, by the way. They all want to fucking talk shit about going green, but they all buy their petroleum from Russia, right? So why is it okay that Russia could be that mother Russia could be the bad guys and be fracking all over the fucking place? There's a big hypocrite nature to this. It's a hypocrisy. It's like, I'm allowed to buy drugs as long as I don't make the drugs. But we still need the drugs, so therefore I'm going to buy the drugs. But I'm going to buy it from Russia, I'm going to buy it from South America, I'm going to buy it from the Middle East. Okay. But how are you still the good guy? Well, we don't actually make the drugs. Oh, I get it. I see. So you just buy the drugs and distribute the drugs from everywhere else. But you don't make the drugs. So therefore, you're okay. America, God bless America. You're good because you don't frack, right? But it's like at the same time, you will buy the petroleum everywhere else. You will trade and distribute and do all these fucking things with it. But you won't drill for it. And we sit on top of a bed of oil here. But why do we get to fucking be holier than thou when all these other countries have no choice but to do this shit or they die. They starve to death. India starves to death if they get rid of their coal power plants. So this is the problem that we have in this country. And by trying to be the bigger, better person of the free world, we are actually putting our people at a disadvantage. And I get it. Like, I guess the lib argument is like, well, we have to have a baseline. We have to start somewhere. But there has to be a balance. Start somewhere, yes. But force everybody to drive electric cars is not a good idea. That is going to destroy the workforce. People are not going to bike to work, especially when people live hours away from their jobs. Like, I know people who commute and take an hour or more to drive on a highway, dude. Okay? And people are like, what? They take an hour to go to work? Yes! They'll literally drive on the Long Island Expressway and take an hour to go to work. Well, what kind of job do they have? That's the way the world works. Now, what are you going to tell this fucking guy to do? Buy a fucking electric car that costs $50,000? Electric car batteries can run $12,000 to replace electric car batteries if that thing stalls? Well, what are you going to do? You going to bike to work? Oh yeah, well, it's okay. You can bike to work. You just get up at 4 in the morning. Yeah, well, when are you going to get to work? 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have to it's impossible. It would destroy the workforce. Again, the liberals don't have any fucking idea. Everything the liberals touch go to shit because they don't live in the real moment. They're retarded. And not that the Republicans are better. The Republicans are fucking stupid too. So it's like, again, it's like, at the end of the day, it's a shit show. That's all I can say. Where's this peasant here? I love talking about politics when I fucking game. What are you doing? Why are you all afraid? Oh, you're not the one. Oh, something else is happening. I had to hit the side of his helmet. No. That would be cool, right? Like I said, Omar, I tried to get in. Alright, no, fuck this shaman, dude. I tried to get into politics a few times, and I got attacked by, like, every side on my other channel, so... I tried, Omar, I tried. I really tried, but, like, you gotta remember, YouTube is very based, no matter what. I love when they do this. They fucking tell me to switch. It's like, okay, dude, I'm killing him with that spam. It's like, why are you making me switch? Now, YouTube is very based, Omar. YouTube has a high Republican viewership. A lot of Midwestern bored Republicans are on YouTube. I hate to say. But, again, I'm not saying I'm not Republican. I'm saying I definitely play the fence, and I look at both sides, but... Yeah, but Omar, they miscue the facts. Everybody miscues facts. Omar, to be honest, I think I did enough research on that video. I know which one you're talking about. I think I did a fair amount of research. They didn't want to hear it. You know how I knew that the guy was so based? Is that he was comparing January 6th to just trespassing. Like, it was just a trespassing. Like, a trespassing at the least, he said, which is a bare minimum crime. It's like, you have to be able to distinguish the difference between trespassing in your neighbor's backyard or, like, in a trailer park or something versus trespassing on a nation capital, or national capital, or trespassing in the Pentagon, or trespassing on Area 51. Like, there's a difference. There's a difference trespassing in Area 51 versus trespassing in Caden's house, okay? Or Caden's yard, okay? Like you want to trespass in Caden's yard because you think his mom is hot, but I don't think they're going to give a fuck as much if you're trespassing on the White House lawn. It's just a fucking common sense. It's common fucking sense. But these people are so based, they don't want to fucking hear it. They argue Tucker Carlson's sightseeing tour, which I don't agree with. I think it was gotten. Look, do I think MSNBC and CNN definitely showed you all the negative footage of January 6th? Sure. Were they biased and one-sided? 100%. Was it a bad day? Yes. Were they wrong for storming the Capitol? Yes. Why? Because what was the fucking root cause? Fraud? Well, you know, there was no proof that there was fraud. Okay? Even Donald Trump himself admitted that the election wasn't a fraud. It took him a while, but he admitted it. They also said hang Mike Pence, because Mike Pence wanted to do things correctly. And then the Republicans forgave him because he talked to the NRA or whatever. But it's like, and then the NRA is like, Pence is like, we love you guys, or whatever. But it's like, you know, when you break it down, people are sore losers, okay? The Republicans were sore losers with that election. And I say the same thing about the Democrats, is when Hillary lost the first time to Trump, the Democrats were sore losers too. They were blaming Russia, Russian collusion. Oh, well, the Russians manipulated the election. Hillary would have been president. The Russians, it's all the Russians' fault. Meanwhile, it's like, really, Russian hackers manipulated the whole election? Or did people just not like Hillary Clinton? Oh, I think people just didn't like her. There was something about Hillary Clinton that creeped everybody fucking out. That's why they didn't vote for her as much. But she tried to blame the goddamn fucking Russians. The Russian hackers. That was the main reason. Yeah, well, it's the same thing with Trump. The Sharpie markers were bleeding through the ballots. They were miscounting them, let me tell you. We had Georgia, I tell you. And out of nowhere, Biden gets it, let me tell you. We had this, we had that. Oh, shut the fuck up. You and Hillary are both the same, please. These are both sore-losing fucking cocksuckers, both of you. I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton's a sore-losing fucking vagina licker with that fucking Anthony Weiner's ex-wife or whatever. Half her age, please. I know she's a dyke. There's no percent in the world that would tell me Hillary is not a lesbian. She is a closet lesbian. I don't care what anyone says. She is no... Look, Bill Clinton is having his fun. He was going to Epstein Island every other fucking week, whatever the hell he was doing, allegedly. I'll say allegedly so I don't get in trouble. But he was traveling all over the place, Bill Clinton, okay, doing his thing. And she was fucking with Anthony Weiner's wife. That's it. That's what I think. Now, is it true? I don't know. I can't stand on it. But do I think so? Yeah, probably. Whatever. If you're gonna be like that, at least be open about it. Shit. Those two ladies were practically holding hands, man. Well, I don't think they were, but they were pretty fucking close. Well, she looks at Hillary like a mentor. What do you mean? Hillary's like a mentor. It's like, yeah, okay, a little more than a mentor. You don't even want to know, Omar. You're too young. I'm not gonna... It was like a sex traffic island. And then the fucking guy killed himself in jail. I don't know if I can even say that on YouTube, whatever. I don't fucking care. There's a list of supposed people that went there. There's a list of supposed people that went there. And the list never got released. Ghislaine Maxwell was his wife. She's in jail. She doesn't release the list of people, of sex trafficking people. Ghislaine Maxwell will not release that list, and Jeffrey Epstein outed himself in prison. If you could believe that. Some people think he got murdered in prison. Because now here's the thing. if you look up on Google Jeffrey Epstein client list of who went to that island where underage trafficking was happening, it was Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, allegedly those two. It was also Prince Andrew, one of the princes from Prince Andrew, I think, from one of the sons over there of England or whatever, the Queen there. Trump was friends with him and even went to the island with him too, with Melania. Now, Trump is again, we all know Trump's a liar. So Trump was always like, so they have a recorded audio of Trump in the 90s, and he's like, let me tell you, Jeffrey Epstein, he's a good guy. He's a terrific guy. He's a great guy. Let me tell you, he throws one hell of a party. Like, he was praising him. And then in recent times, when Jeffrey Epstein went to jail, Trump was like, I'm not a big fan of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't like him. I'm not a big fan. All of a sudden, he wasn't a big fan. So you tell me what to believe with Trump. He knows how to weasel his way out of everything. I've never seen, that's one thing I will give Donald Trump. I've never seen a person that can weasel his way out of everything. The guy gets away with anything and everything, and his base doesn't give a shit. Like, this guy could get in trouble for doing, like, the worst conceivable thing, and his base will be like, oh, that's just the liberal, that's the Democrats trying to smear him. But, like, I can understand that on these small things, like the Stormy Daniel hush money. Well, okay, I get that. But seriously? Like, they could catch him doing the worst thing.
なものを着せる。ここはあの鬼の化身の弓取りに殺された者が眠る場所だ。鬼だと？違う。忠頼公は麻生浦をお守りなされた。海賊からことは寝てから言いやがれ。忠頼公は民を救ったまで名高き弓取り対馬の勇士だ。
So that's what that kind of works with, man. Is that Trump just gets away with everything and his base just fucking, no matter what, they don't care. I've never seen, like, anti-cancel culture to that level. Like, I get cancel culture with people, and, like, I love how, like, real...
鬼は誰よりも早く矢を射るという噂だ。石碑の周りに灯籠が見えるから一つ残らず射抜いてみせろ。
Oh, come on, dude. I think I almost had the 7 if I didn't miss like that. Probably not, but...
長尾の亡霊が己に宿ってるのか。頼む、俺を射るな。この矢は猛虎を射るため残しておく。だが忠頼公を再び侮るのならば。
It's not like Biden's much better or worse. See, that's the thing. I get pretty crazy because I get pretty upset with politics because it's like we don't really have. Unfortunately, we just don't have like good representation anywhere. That was bad. I missed one. I could have... Again, I still think I could get... You know what I gotta do? I gotta, like, try to get, like, 2 of the outside clusters and get the big group of them together. Let's try that. We'll do these 2 outside first. Boom. Boom. And now we put this on. Boom. 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 Oh, see? Come on, dude. 10.5. I keep missing one of them. I still think even if I get them, I'm not going to get the 7 seconds until I upgrade that charm more. But... .6, see? That's pretty close, though. Could I get higher than that? Maybe. My analog is definitely stiff. Let me try one more time. That might be it. Oh, 8.3. Damn. Alright, that's close. We're not going to try again. What we're going to do is... That was close, though. Is we're just going to try to get this charm up still. Let's see. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this charm? That's pretty good. 0.6. So we just keep getting, 2 out of 3, and we'll have probably, like, 3/4 of this wheel filled, and then we can probably redo all these and get it. Although I don't know if that's exactly how you do this, but... Ooh. What the fuck? Can't I wake up from that? I got the 3 resolve. That was a little too high for me to jump. Alright, we could go down this way. Wrong way. I'm not gonna follow that bird. I'm gonna go this way. He's crazy, Omar. Omar, I think the world is crazy lately, no? Omar, you don't think the whole planet's crazy as of late? Yeah, why do I wish there was more grapple locations? I feel like there's not enough grapple locations. I mean, obviously, like, on the houses and all that there are, but, like, I feel like there's just not enough, you know? Like, what's the point of grappling on the house when you can just go to this side of the house and do this? It's like, oh, I'm at the side of the house. Look, I'm right here. Oh, this house you really can't. Yeah, no, this house you can't. This house you have to grapple. A lot of the houses you could just climb up without it, though. Thanks, Omar. Only, like, when I'm in a good mood. Sometimes, like, I'm in a very intolerable mood, and I know that. You know, and I'm just fucking angry, and I'm yelling, and I know when I get pretty crazy, and it's hard to deal with, believe me. And that's why sometimes I just don't want to stream, or I'll listen to a podcast, because it's like, sometimes, like, I don't have my thoughts together good. And I don't think that would be good if I was like if I had a consistent like viewer base. I think people would think they would think I'm really crazy. Like, imagine if I was viral, Omar. Like, imagine if I was viral, like, I don't know. But imagine if I was viral though, dude, like one of those like Sniper Wolf or something. Dude, you know how destroyed I would get? They would go through like my channel and pick the worst things I've ever said, dude. And like, I know it's gotta be a lot. It would be a ton, dude. I would own up to it though. I would say, all right, yeah, I said it, but I'm not gonna like apologize. I'll own up to it.
母上曰くこの曲は座して吹いてはならぬとか体を動かせ
Oh look, the monkey flute game. Let's play. All right. Yeah, I don't know about that. YouTube is pretty weird. And hate to you though. Also, it's like, look, if it happened, it happened. But it brings a lot of, like, there are people with strong opinions, and if you get like viral, people don't want to hear your opinion because sometimes your opinion is what they feel influencing other people. And if they feel your opinion is toxic or not good, you know, it's a slippery slope, you know? I probably would. If I became, like, really viral, then I would have, like, yeah, but I may have, like, a really weird fan base. Because I'm off the chain sometimes, so it's like I would have, like, a really weird fan base. It'd be like a strange fan base, more than anything. Like, people just like half nuts and shit, I don't know. Like me. I'm like doing everything but the story missions, because I just want to kind of chill out. I don't feel like doing the story missions, you know? I gotta like read and all that shit. I don't feel like doing that. It's hard to stream and do that. Omar, I mean, I tried to make that reaction channel, man. Like I said, some of the videos did good. So I have a couple that have a couple of thousand. One has 14,000 legit viewers, no pay or anything. Again, even with all that, it still is very hard, man. It's very hard to become viral. It's like it's literally like hitting a lottery. having like a memory again with Kotal Khan. I think I know who the guy you're talking about. That guy with the hood over his head? Let me see. Oh, Papa Gut? Who's that? Well, there's a Papa Meat. Oh, he's got 27,000 subscribers. He looks like an old guy like me, too. Fat old boomer-looking guy. Yeah, just like me, right? That's what we're getting. They're becoming like these fat, miserable boomer-looking guys criticizing everything. Critiquing everything. Bald. Well, I'm not bald yet. But you can just tell, like, sloppy, probably eats a lot of fucking snacks and shit. This is what happens, dude. You just fucking live in your fucking house, your room, or whatever, and you just fucking play games, and you bitch about shit. And you critique shit. Everything's under the radar for you, right? You're not under the radar much, but everybody else is. And then you get famous once in a while, right? Some people get famous. They want to hear the nonsense you have to say. Then you get deemed as... oh, shit. Then you get deemed as an influencer, and that's it. Oh, damn it. Where's Jacqueline? Looks like he gained a lot of weight too, Omar. What is he? What is he, woke, Omar? Why do you listen to woke people? You like that woke shit? Omar, I thought you said you don't like woke shit. Now all of a sudden I hear your favorite commentator is a fucking woke person? Really? What's next, Omar? Protect trans kids on your wall? Ha ha. Got it. Yeah, these shamans are a pain in the ass, man. Where's the shaman here? You know who I kind of like also, who's like a leftist person that I usually don't like a lot of leftist like commentators and stuff or influencers. Like the Young Turks are kind of annoying. Anna Kasparian, she could be an okay debater, but she's kind of like a little bit whiny and annoying at times. But who do I kind of like on the left as of late is that guy Destiny. I think he's okay. I listened to some of his stuff lately, and he's pretty rational. He doesn't like the whole transing kids thing. He's a leftist, but he's like a rational leftist. And he's like one of the few leftists that I could tolerate. Do you know what I'm talking about? Destiny? I could tolerate him. I'm not saying I love him. I could tolerate him. He has a good... he's a sensible, like, he's a sensible person when it comes to interviews to some degree. He's woke, but he's like not stupid woke. And another one, Russell Brand, the comedian. He's interesting. He's kind of leaning right lately. He's more like, I guess he used to be woke, but he's like leaning right a lot. But I say Russell Brand is another person that I can listen to a lot. But Destiny is definitely still on that woke side. And I don't hate him. I think he's okay. He's an interesting conversation. So, again, I could listen to someone like Destiny, and I could agree with some points. Well, Destiny is woke, but not as woke. Papa Gut might be more woke. I don't know what they got into it over, but Destiny, he's a little woke, but he's kind of more moderate. Like, Destiny will actually, like, not be against guns and things like that, where, but he'll agree with so many other Democratic point of views. All right, Barkley. Take it easy, man. Have a good night, brother. So, like, Destiny will have, like, he won't... All right, maybe I'll try. I'll listen to him. But that's the only type of woke person that I could listen to is like something like that. Like it has to be like someone who doesn't. All right, they don't care about transgenders if you're 18 years old or older, but they don't like it being done to minors. Someone who is, has moderate viewpoints. Maybe they want to get rid of AR-15s or they don't like military-grade weapons, but at the same time, like, they're not saying take guns away from the police officers. Things like that. Like, if they're a moderate type of person, I could listen to it because that's on my level. Hassan is a little bit too left, Omar. I've heard some of his things. He pisses me off, actually. Hassan goes a little left of Destiny. He used to be, at one time, a little bit more moderate, Hassan, but he's fucking way lefter than he should be. And who's the other guy? Andrew Tate is like too right for me. He's like Chad right, and I don't like that. He believes in like monogamy and shit. Like he's just like non-monogamous relationships. That's what he believes in. Like fucking Andrew Tate. I know he's like a hero for a lot of people, and I do think he was kind of like wrongfully charged in Romanian prisons. But again, like why the fuck did you move to Romania then? But like okay, but at the same time, it's like I do believe like in fair trials and things of this country that we should do. So I was like I just don't like Andrew Tate too much. I think he's too much of like a Chad, and too many people follow him like he's the man or something. And it's like he's like a Kim Kardashian for women, and I just don't really like him with a political viewpoint. So, yeah, I agree with that take, Omar. I agree with Papa Gut on that take. I've always agreed with that. I don't mind if somebody wants to transition, but at the same time, I do feel you need to put an effort into your transition. Like, you can't just be like 6'7" with a fucking, a beard and go into a little girl's bathroom. I don't care for Andrew Tate, Omar. I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I don't like him. He hooks me for like 15 minutes, and I listen to him like, oh, he makes a lot of sense. Andrew Tate makes a lot of sense, and then he says something stupid. And then he'll say something stupid again. And it's just like, you're like, wait a minute. He'll be like, what you mean, Chads? He's like, what you mean, mate? Women are objects for us to, and he'll say like stupid shit. Like, the hot girl in Nebraska is now in the global market. Like, and he'll say shit like, and it's just like, I just don't really like that about Andrew Tate. I think he's unrealistic, made a lot of money, and I think the money got to his head. And he's like definitely a huge Chad influencer type, like he's like a right-leaning like bro moron. I hate to say it. So like as much as like Andrew Tate, like, there are things he says that I agree with, because he's against the nuclear family, Omar. Like, he's against a nuclear family, and I don't really like that too much. I think, I believe in the conservative, like, family mentality. I think that's something that we should not run away from. And Andrew Tate, like, sometimes is against that, and I just don't think that's a good conservative viewpoint. I think that's actually, like, almost a liberal viewpoint, and he likes to play it off that he's, like, a conservative, so I don't understand. It's a weird Chad viewpoint of a young guy that just wants to bang bitches. And because he's got money, he could do it. And it's just like, I don't know why people look up to that. With the sunglasses indoors and the cigar smoking and all that shit. Not a fan of it. Think it's kind of like show-offy and stupid. And he kind of lucked out, and as much as he, like, see, one problem I have with people like Andrew Tate, Omar, is that they flex when they luck out. Like, he did luck out in life. Like, don't think he didn't. Everybody has an element of luck. Yeah, look, again, this is why I don't hate both sides of the fence, because you can make a good argument and a good talking point on both sides of the fence. I really believe that to a degree. You don't have to be like the Republican debt cult, and you don't have to be like the progressive AOC libtards, totalitarian Marxists, or whatever you want to call them. Like, you don't have to be that way. You don't have to be a dumbass leftist, and you don't have to be a dumbass right person. It's just the bottom line. You don't have to. You could be fucking an independent person who has a mind of his goddamn own. Like, you know that? Like, Bill Burr said it best. That's why I love Bill Burr, because he'll say, like, stupid shit, but he'll say, like, he's like, I'm pro-choice. He's like, I'm pro-choice. And then everybody will, like, cheer, and he'll be like, hold on. I said it's weird. Hold on, you're all cheering me. He's like, I'm pro-choice. It's your body. You could, if you want to have an abortion, have a fucking abortion. But you're still killing a baby. I don't care what you fucking think. And he said, if you're going to bake a cake, and that cake's going to be ready in an hour, and I pull it out 20 minutes, and I throw it across the room, you're going to get batter all over the fucking place. And this is what Bill Burr said. And I was dying laughing because he said it very funny. But he's right. See, like, that's the type of shit I like. I like when people say, like, yeah, okay, it's your choice, but you're still killing a baby. Okay. He's right. That's it. I mean, he's all over the map, Bill Burr, but he's got a good viewpoint on things. So, like, he's a comedian, but he's smart. So I guess to break it down, it's kind of like, I guess you could say that's my viewpoint in a way. Like, like, I don't agree with a lot of things, but I can understand things, right? I call it like what Chris Rock says. I kind of believe in that too. Like what Chris Rock would be like, he's like, when he used to say, he's like, what did Chris Rock say? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, when Chris Rock was like, he's like, I don't believe in hitting women. I would never hit a woman. He's like, hell no, I would never hit a woman. He's like, but I can understand. And he said that, and I thought it was funny because he's like, basically what he's trying to say is that, like, women sometimes in relationships can, even if they're small, whatever, they will go places. I fucking hate Ethan Klein. Really dislike him. Him and his ugly girlfriend. Don't like them. I don't like H3H3. I mean, I like what they're doing with the Colleen Ballinger shit because she's a fucking disaster train wreck and they're kind of ripping her down pretty good. But as for a whole, I don't like Ethan Klein. I think he's weird. Don't like him. He says dumb shit. And then he tries to backpedal out of it. Like he said, Ben Shapiro is a Jew. He said Ethan Klein said Ben Shapiro is a Jew that should have been put in the gas chamber, and that's a fucking. I don't care if you're joking. to be a big influencer podcast like that, he should have never said something on that level. To say that Ben Shapiro should have been a Jew that was in a gas chamber? Like, really? H3H3 said that? And you're like, who the fuck is H3? Like, Ben Shapiro's way bigger than H3H3. And, like, you're gonna fucking say that about him? Like, you're retarded. No, Ethan's a moron, dude. Ethan Klein is a fucking moron. And his wife is not pretty. I don't think she's pretty at all. He's always praising her like she's so beautiful. I don't think she's pretty. I think she's like fucking half autistic or some shit. She doesn't say a fucking goddamn word. Him, on the other hand, he just bothers me. I don't like him. I'm not a fan of that podcast. He's too left. Omar, how come you know like all the woke people, but you don't know one like conservative guy? It's like so funny. Conservative media people tend to be more popular than the woke ones, believe it or not. Like if you look at Sam Peters' like fucking podcast, it doesn't have as many views as like, you know, a Jordan Peterson or something. How do you listen to these woke people? Like, they're not funny. They're horrible, most of them. Like even Destiny. Like, I'm not going to choose Destiny over Jordan Peterson. Like, it will never happen. It will never happen. Like, I'm not going to choose fucking, you know, the Young Turks over fucking, you know, over some conservative podcast guy. I'm not going to do it. Because it's just not going to happen. Like, the woke podcast people are not cool. They're the furthest from cool. Even Destiny, like, I'm saying he's tolerable. He's not cool. He's tolerable. I could listen to him. He makes some points. But, I can't fucking listen to that man. I really can't. I fucking can't stand him. As an older adult, I really can't stand him. Omar, I think in your age demographic, you tend to be more left, but you'll see as you get older, you may not be, when you have to pay bills and stuff like that. I'm not going to make fun of your political alignment. Well, yeah, he talks slow, but he's a philosopher. I could do a Jordan Peterson impersonation, kind of. If I did like Donald Trump talking to Jordan Peterson, it would be like something. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I'll talk about. Yeah, I'll do Donald Trump talking to Jordan Peterson about Ghost of Tsushima, about Jin Sakai. Okay, you ready? All right, let's see. I tell you I like this guy, Jin Sakai. He's a real, I tell you, he's my kind of man, let me tell you. He loves, he's very good at the sword. He likes to grab him by the, he takes his sword and he grabs him by the vagina, let me tell you. And then Jordan Peterson would come in and be like, he's like, what? Well, I believe that's... Wait, what would Jordan Peterson say about Jin Sakai? He'd be like, well, kind of agree with you there, but I'll tell you, now, he obviously, wait, I'm fucking stuttering, I'm trying to think, how would I say this? Well, obviously, he's very successful at what he does. And he's a ninja. Now, that takes a bloody long time to get good at. But if you're good at being a ninja, well, good for you. Yes. You are one hell of a ninja. But now hold on a minute. You may be a ninja, but does that make you good at the patriarchal tyranny out there? Because it's not a patriarchal tyranny. There's a hierarchical structure. Okay? And 80% of hospitals are run by women. Facts. Now, Carl Jung said, I can't fucking do it. I have to be in the fucking mood, man. Like, you know, but like, then Trump would be like, I like the cut of this guy's jib. Let me tell you, he's a good sight. A psycho ad. Let me tell you, he's a good sight. Jordan, terrific. He's wonderful. He's a great, fantastic philosopher. Let me tell you, he's like Galileo, Aristotle, and Nimoy. And let me tell you something. Donald J. Trump, I am going to be on the $100 bill, replacing Benjamin Franklin soon. Yeah, well, and so you should. And so you should. President, well, let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You should be on the $100 bill. Why? You should be on... It's a goddamn bloody shame that you're not on the $50 bill or the $20 bill. You were quite a good president, and you certainly won that election. Yes. But one has to ask himself, do you truly want to be the president of 2024? Now it's a hard job, and you're not a spring chicken anymore. Then Trump would be like, let me tell you, I went to my doctor the other day, and he said, Donald, you have a fantastic body. You look wonderful. You're an amazing body. You're in great health. I tell you, and I said, I like this doctor a lot. I need more doctors like him on my team. I had too many traitors. I had people like Bannon and people that go against me all the time. And then Chris Christie, that sack of potatoes, let me tell you. But I need doctors like him. I need doctors that tell me how amazing I am at everything. Well, I think you're amazing. But I also think it's a terrifying idea that you're so narcissistic. Narcissism is a terrible trait. It's a high in agreeableness, but very low in disagreeableness. And it's a terrible trait to be a narcissist. You see a lot of narcissists out there, and they cause a lot of pain and hurt for their family members. Well, one could say narcissism is a bad thing, but I guess in your case, Trump, narcissism could actually be a good thing. People with your type of sometimes a healthy narcissism is necessary. Yes. And that's how Jordan Peterson would talk with Donald Trump. I should do Hulk Hogan. Should I add Hulk Hogan into it? I could do Hogan, I could do Trump, I could do Peterson, a little bit of Cosby. I could do, Cosby's easy, but I could do him. I could do Alex Jones. I love doing Alex Jones. He's funny. I could do Biden, but my Biden's kind of weird. I do like a weird Biden. It's fun, but I don't get the tone down good. Who else can I do? Macho Man, he's not that hard. I'm trying to think who else I could do. Still there, Omar? Do I really? Let me. Do I really sounds that good? Yeah. I'll check when I come back. I don't even. I enjoy doing impersonations. I like it, you know, it's fun. It takes, you gotta think about it a little bit, you know? You need to think. It it takes a little thinking to do an impersonation. You got to get it down to context of like how they talk and shit, you know. And a lot of these people, these popular people are like characters, you know, like they're very animated, I guess you could say. So it's fun to do it, you know. I could do Yoda too. I don't know if he counts. Everybody could kind of. I feel like Yoda's not that hard. He's like kind of an impersonation. You know Yoda, right, from Star Wars? I could do him. He's not that hard though. Jin Sakai. Powerful samurai is he. But honor, one must go with honor. Otherwise, without honor, you'd be chaos. Chaos is a powerful conduit to the dark side. Yes. Yes, yes. To Masako, you listen. You know Alex Jones, Omar? That Alex Jones, that lunatic? You know how he talks?
幾日も閉じ込められてたんだ。ああ、見惚れちまった。行け、達者でな。
Yeah, I could do Alex Jones too. So Alex Jones is more like, he's more yelling a lot. So he's like, but he talks very I don't know them, Omar. I don't know who they are. But I know Alex Jones. Alex Jones will be like, if Alex Jones was in the conversation with Peterson and Trump, it would be like, okay, he'd be like, well, how are you guys doing? Well, hello. Very nice to meet you, Dr. Peterson. He'd be like, wait, no, that's more like a Hogan. He'd be like, well, it's an honor to meet you, Dr. Peterson. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. President, Donald Trump. President, you're still the president in my eyes. Infowars.com. Infowars.com, $4.99. Let me sell you this right here, iodine pills. Let me in a nuclear fallout. You want? Hold on, Alex. We don't want to hear about your iodine pills. We don't want to hear about your iodine pills. Oh, sorry, Mr. President. Well, I have a question for Dr. Peterman. Dr. Peterman. Peterson, bloody Peterson, please. At least, if you're going to address me, at least get my name right. Oh, Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, I have a question for you, Dr. Peterson. What do you think about the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, knowing about goat spiders? Look it up, folks. Google.com. You can find, I have sources I can't credit right here, but we have spiders having sex with goats, and the DNA is there, folks. And the teeth of the goat will make Kevlar for our military soldiers, and it is interweaving in the bulletproof vest that the soldiers wear. And what do you think about that, Dr. Peterson? Well, I mean, on one hand, wait, one hand you have goats, on the other hand you have spiders. Now both are animals, yes, but I'll tell you this: if the CIA, as you mentioned, is making armor for the military, then I guess it's a good thing. But one could say it might be a bad thing, because too much goat spiders can mean the end of civilization. Yes. I like this guy. Let me tell you, this Peterman. He knows how to debate an argument. Let me tell you, I like to keep classified documents next to my shower, next to Melania's underwear drawer, which the CIA and the FBI invaded Mar-a-Lago, and they were going through Melania's underwear drawer, let me tell you, and it was not a good thing. I tell you, that was a terrible, terrible moment of our country. Yes. The terrible, awful thing. Awful. The bollocks that the CIA has to do something like that. They should be ashamed of, they should be appalled, ashamed of themselves. I mean, imagine your wife getting her underwear shuffled through for classified documents. It's appalling, and it's bloody awful that a country could stoop that low. I agree, Mr. Peterman. Let me tell you something. Well, you see, the CIA did a lot more than me. What they did was they infiltrated my studio here at Infowars.com, and they ruffled through everything. I mean, I got dropped from Google and Apple and every major sponsor in 1 day time. Imagine how I felt. So my good friend Joe Rogan, I went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I basically told him everything. Yeah, I had a couple of shots of whiskey with Joe Rogan. Let me tell you, that Joe Rogan is a shill for the CIA. He works for the CIA. He's a shill for the CIA. But I will say this. He's a good friend of mine. Let me tell you, that Joe Rogan is a good friend. Well, I've also been on the Joe Rogan show, and let me tell you, me and him had quite the discussion on climate change, and it was a very deep discussion on climate change, and me and him, it's it's amazing. It's amazing how popular Joe has got for mediocrity. Oh, I mean, I definitely agree. He got his start from that hit show Fear Factor, and he used to monitor those teenagers and stuff like that. They used to eat bugs and things like that. You know, it's something that the celebrities are doing. They're eating insects. They're eating frogs. They're eating. They're becoming vegans and eating synthetic meat, where they're putting all sorts of nitrates and chemicals into the meat. And they're making the kids and the youth gay. They're making everybody turn gay because of the barium in the water, the barium in the meat. They got, you know, and I gotta say, there's a lot of tribalism out there. Let me tell you, when I was a young man, I was a young heir to the Trump fortune. I never seen such a witch hunt before. I have more indictments on me than anybody in the damn country, and let me tell you, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win them all. I never get in trouble for anything. I got all my lawyers, and I am gonna run for the 2024 election. I'm gonna win with flying colors. Something Sleepy Joe knows nothing about. Oh, it's appalling. It's appalling what the left, the progressive liberals, what they're doing to the youth in the country. They're brainwashing everybody with social media, TikTok, you name it. I couldn't agree less, let me tell you. I don't like TikToks. It is, they're too involved with China. It's a China it's a China app, and I don't like China. If I had to grab a girl by the pussy, I would not grab her by her vagina, because it sounds too much like China. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. President. In 2024, you definitely you can count on my vote. Alex Jones here, you can count on my vote. I mean, it's either you or yeah. It's either you or Zeptilius. Zeptilius is an alien being that I was actually in contact with. My good friend who works for the Pentagon actually had a EBE an extraterrestrial biological entity, and he had it locked in a cage. So I went there and I actually made friends with Zeptilius. I think his name was Zeptilius, and we had a telepathic conversation. And what I did was I told him about Bohemian Grove, and I told him about Moloch and the New World Order and the Illuminati and the reptilian agenda. And let me tell you, he's a source I can't credit too well, but he will tell you things that will blow your mind. And I think Mr. Joe, what's his name? Mr. Peterman, what's this guy's name? I think his name is Alex Jones. Mr. Jones, I think you are starting to sound crazy. I was thinking about hiring you to be part of my, to be maybe even a vice president. I'm getting tired of Pence. If they wanted to hang Mike Pence, let me tell you, if they hang him, I was thinking about getting Alex Jones as my vice president. But I tell you, you're talking a little crazy right now. Even for me, Donald J. Trump, you're talking a little crazy. Just a little. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I didn't mean to offend you there. Well, on one side, Donald Trump is trying to say that perhaps, Alex, you're getting a little too intense on the subject. Well, one will say, maybe that's a good thing. But maybe it's not a good thing. I can't keep this up, Omar. I'm on a tangent here. I can't. It sounds crazy. Was it somewhat like, does it sound like that now, or just not that good? You just I could do Hulk Hogan too. I like to add Hogan, but he sounds a lot like Alex Jones, so it's hard to put him in the mix. Alex Jones is funner to do because he's crazier, actually. Alex Jones talks so crazy that you could just kind of make up shit all over the place. He's a very easy impersonation because guys like Alex Jones and like Trump are easy. Because Trump always talks about himself and how terrific he is and blah, blah, blah. And Alex Jones just bring up aliens and crazy shit, and that's it. And, Jordan Peterson, he likes to play strongman on both sides of the argument all the time. So just make him go, well, and just have him, do the shit like that. So they're kind of they're not that hard to do. And you got Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby would be like, well, you see, Mr. Peterman, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, and Mr. Alex Jones, I think that's his name. You see, now, what you do is, it's not about the CIA and the president of the USA and Mr. Peterman. It's about the Kodak camera. Well, let me tell you what they do with the Kodaks and the Zaxacs and the Visuals and the Shizzle. What they do with the Kodak is they take a picture. You take the picture and you snap it like so. And when you snap it like so, it comes out the camera like a Polaroid. But Kodak took the rights, and Polaroid sued Kodak, so I had to make a new commercial. And the commercial I made was for Puddin' Pops and Jello shots and part of the Cosby Show. And they called me Dr. Huxtable. I remember Dr. He's the one who said my body was fantastic. Dr. Huxley, he's a great man. Go ahead. Well, you see, he's a very good man, but he did some time in jail, Mr. Huxtable, because he was accused of having sex with white women. He was grooming the white women to come to his apartment. Well, I mean, if you mind if I interject here, but drugging white women and having sex with them is not necessarily a good life rule. Okay, the 12 rules of life, and one will say, is you gotta respect no, and no is a powerful word. You see, I never understood what no means no, because I always used to say yes, and yes means yes. Now, you see, and that's... Oh, let me interject, brother. Hold on a second, dude. Hold on a second, brother. Let me interject. It's Hulk Hogan right here, dude. What you gonna do, brother? When Hulk Hogan comes running in on this conversation piece, dude. Who's this guy now, Mr. Joe? I think his name is Terry Bollea. He was a wrestler of some kind. Well, that's right, dude. Not just a wrestler. I was the wrestler, brother. I was the most popular wrestler in the 80s, dude. You might have heard of something called Hulkamania, brother. It was larger than the universe. It was like imagine looking into the Hubble telescope, brother, and imagine looking at the constellations and the stars, dude, and then you saw a constellation in red and yellow, dude, and that red and yellow constellation said Hulk Hogan, brother. What you gonna do, Mean Gene? So, were you, Hulk Hogan, is it? I presume. Were you involved in the construction of the Hubble telescope? I heard that was a fantastical piece of equipment. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Peterman. I definitely was not involved in the creation of the Hubble telescope, but I was involved in slamming Andre, brother. Which was, Andre the Giant was considered the 8th wonder of the world, dude. And I slammed that giant. I slammed that giant so hard, dude, that people in China heard it, dude. You judge me by my size, do you? Hey, look at me, Aiden. You judge me by my size, do you? It's not the size. The force is strong with me. Look around you, Hogan. The trees grow. I don't care about no trees, brother. Let me tell you something. These arms are the size of trees, dude. I have the largest tree trunk arms in the world. Judge me by my size, do you? Oh, you see, Mr. Hogan and Mr. Little Green Midget. You see, Mr. Hulk Hogan and this little green midget over here. You see, what I do is I personally don't know this little green midget, but he's an ugly little shit. And I'll tell you one thing, Hulk Hogan. You may be a big man with those big arms, but you see how I would like to meet your daughter, Brooke Hogan. She's a white woman that I quite fancy white women like Brooke Hogan, and she looks wonderful. And I'd like to meet her, and I'd like to give her a spot on the Cosby Show, if that's allowed. Well, I'll definitely pass it to her, dude. I know how rich and successful you are, brother. You call me midget. It's very hurtful. Would you like to talk about it, little Yoda? But I'm a clinical psychiatrist, and I would like to interview you for a session. It seems like you're quite bothered. You're quite bothered by what Mr. Mr. William Cosby told you, which, on one hand, I can understand. You're quite small, and you do resemble that of a vertically challenged person. But at the same time, it was quite hurtful what he said to you. Alright, I'm done, Omar. I can't do it. I can't keep it up. I'm losing words to saying shit. You can make them funny. You can make a funny story. I like getting characters, though. The more characters I get, the more funny of a story you can make. Because then you just start having them all talk to each other. It's pretty funny. You put Biden, you put Peterson, you put...
弟は村で一番里い子だったんだ。それなのにもうこのせいで変わっちまった。もう安全だ。どこかへ逃げろ。悪い人はいないよ。
It's fun. I like to learn. I wish I could learn more, man. Like Bill Clinton is a hard one to do. I can't get that Arkansas rasp down. Maybe if I studied it, but it's hard. Who else is relevant, I guess you could say. I can't do the people that's so relevant to your generation, Omar, like these YouTubers and stuff, because it's like they're kind of like out of my stratosphere. Like I could do some of them, but I could, but I don't really want to. Like if you told me to do like a Jake, like one of the Jake Paul or whatever his name is, like I wouldn't have any interest in doing them. Whoever runs that Impulsive podcast, like I wouldn't care to do him. Even him, like he's like fast talking and shit. Like I wouldn't want to do him, you know. There's nothing like funny about him. Even with Ben Shapiro, like Ben Shapiro's another fast talker. Like I can't. It's got to be like an over-the-top character, you know? I like to do an over-the-top character, like somebody who's like, you know, a certain way of talking, you know? Like a Donald Trump, like, you know. Even like a Jack Nicholson, I would like to learn how to do one, because he's kind of got like a funny voice, too. He's got like a very intense, like crazy voice. Yeah. Ooh. How old is he? Is he my age? He looks like he's older.
影、どこへ行ってしまった。この蹄は影のものだ。どこへ行ってしまった。歩みによどみがない。無事のようだ。空腹だったか。狼狽もせず草をはんだ。倒れたか転げたか、無事であろうな。そこもと、
静かに聞かれますよ。大高族に狙われているんです。もし捕まったら心を壊されてしまう。
落ち着け。人はおらん。
奴らが来たと気づいて逃げ出したものの、危うく蛇に噛まれかけまして。
だが殺したのだろ
う。それが不意に現れた馬が蛇を踏み潰して運よく事なきを得ただけなんです。
その馬どちらへ行った。
猛虎を追って丘の方へ。
助かった。
馬を見つけたら礼をお伝えください。
足跡、猛虎だ。たじろいだ後、馬を追った。馬の蹴りで頭を割られておる。
Alright, Omar. Take it easy, man.
あの音、近いぞ。影、今向かう。なんだ。
Oh, come on. Bleh.
影、今向かう。なんだ。 よくやった。いい子だ。
影。
ようやく会えた。怪我はないな。死んだかと思ったが、お前を見くびっておったな。お前が見せた足で猛虎を潰す動き、忘れるでないぞ。お前がいてよかった。襲われておる。急ぎ向かうぞ。今ので最後。
二度も命を救われました。
礼はよい。
馬に行ったのですが、ともあれおかげで助かりました。
褒められたな。行くぞ。共に息を救おう。
Hmm?